Greetings and welcome to the channel. My name is Dr. Nana Gyesie, shamanic coach and leadership guide here at Inner Mileage, where we help folks understand the trauma basis of limiting self-beliefs and how to take inspired action to live resonant, happy lives right here, right now. Today we're going to talk about spells, the hidden technology behind narcissistic abuse, and how empaths reclaim their power. So it's important to realize that narcissistic abuse is not just a psychological manipulation, but it's a spell. And it's a spell not just metaphorically, but energetically, spiritually, and neurologically. It is important for empaths to realize that it's time to awaken to this ancient science behind what's happened to you and how to reclaim your power. See? And so this session today is going to be focused on decoding spells, the utility of spells, and how spells keep you trapped in this realm, and demystifying what a spell is, because a spell is simply the spelling of words, hence the word spelling, ABCD, spelling, abracadabra. So spells are intention charged frequencies encoded in language, sound, symbol, ritual, or gaze. And in fact, the anthropologists Malinowski and Levi-Strauss, the great ones, observed that every early human society used spells to encode belief, authority, and healing into social and spiritual frameworks. And specifically in physics, every vibration has a frequency. In neuroscience, repetition and emotional charge alter neuroplasticity. This is what happens when you repeat affirmations. Affirmations are simply casting positive spells on yourself consciously, whereas negative self-talk is casting negative spells on yourself unconsciously. Do you see? So to go even further, in esoteric systems such as Hermetics from ancient Egypt, a spell is a mental image embodied with emotional intensity projected into the ether. Thus, a spell is a formula, a mathematical code of intention, vibration, and consciousness, or simply put, a directed energetic imprint, you see. So what does this have to do with narcissistic abuse? See, the narcissistic abuse cycle starts with love bombing, and the spell cast through love bombing is to make you doubt and lower your defenses so the narcissist can penetrate. Then there's devaluation, which is to gaslighting you into doubting. There's a spells cast to make you doubt your sense of efficacy and self-efficacy. Then devaluation, which is a spell cast to make you feel like you have absolutely no value. And then the hoovering happens to make you forget what's happened to you in the spell cast so you can re-enter the contract. So when a narcissist love bombs you, mirrors your soul, then devalues and discards you, they're casting spells upon spells upon spells upon spells. And what the narcissist does is they use language, repetition, tone, and emotional contrast to trap you. This is known as psychic binding. And then what happens after this is the narcissist studies your pain body, they really do, and then they listen deeply or inquire into your own childhood wounding. So when you're having these conversations with a narcissist, these are not mere conversations based on connection, but they are extractive processes designed to give the narcissist access to power on how to control you. And what they do is they use it to lock you in a narrative so that you begin to believe that you're nothing without them, that if you want to correct the narcissist, that's you being too sensitive, and that the narcissist is your soul partner. Without them, no one will love you like they would. Then they convince you into believing that you are broken. You know, these phrases are verbal spells. They rearrange your inner world like malware until you begin to operate on their reality loop. That's what gaslighting is. And this is gaslighting in the psychological sense, but something mystics call soul siphoning. Soul siphoning. So now I want to get into actual spell work and how spells are cast, the spell of abracadabra and its true meaning. So many of us have heard the word abracadabra, and it's often used in folklore to show a wizard or a witch casting a spell. But did you know that its origin is in Aramaic? Avracadabra, meaning I create as I speak. Avracadabra, I create as I speak. This is not child's play, it's spiritual physics. And the Hebrew daba means, abracadabra, daba means word and thing, showing that in ancient traditions, speech creates physical objects, matter. So when a narcissist speaks, what they are doing is they are creating your new reality. And when you speak truth, name your pain and reclaim your voice, what you're doing is breaking the spell. Do you see how this works? And it's really insidious how these narcissists use these spells to keep us empaths, wounded empaths to be more precise, trapped in these narratives for decades and decades and decades until you learn how to reclaim yourself and cast counter spells. So what are the spells of liberation and how can empaths cast positive spells? Well, the gift of the empath isn't just sensitivity. The true gift of the empath is spiritual authorship. And here's how you create empowering spells to reverse the narcissist's curse. The first is to declare your reality in the present tense. So instead of saying I will be free, for example, you can start quantum leaping by assuming that freedom is already here. Because there's, in fact, in the words of Ram Dass and others, even Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, freedom already exists. The illusion is to think you're not free. So when you say things like I am free, I am sovereign now, I am light encoded, I am divinely protected, you are calling in your freedom. Now the other is to use sound codes such as chanting and toning, right? So chanting, sound baths, chanting Om, which actually activates your vagus nerve because the vagus nerve is activated by humming. And the best thing you can hum is the primordial sound, Om, right? These activate ancient memory. And of course, I'm a big fan of write and burn rituals, right? Casting daily spells in the mirror where you look at yourself and repeat things to yourself, which is self-authorship. When you look into the mirror, you say to yourself, I am encoded with divine brilliance. My heart is a sovereign temple. No one owns me, no one distorts me, no one drains me. This practice rewires your mirror neurons. Remember, empaths have very active mirror neurons, and it reestablishes integrity in your nervous system, which is healing. So, the historical context of spells is from the jet pillars of ancient Egypt to the grimoires of medieval Europe. Spells were sacred science. They really were, from Africa to Europe. And the church, fearing independent power, labeled them as witchcraft, especially those used by women and indigenous people. But spells are neither good nor evil. They are tools of consciousness, and it's the intent, resonance, and awareness behind them that determines their polarity. So casting spells, breaking a narcissist spell is not about revenge. It's about retrieving soul fragments, trauma fragments in the psyche. And each time you name what happened, you feel the pain and reclaim your worth, you call back a lost piece of yourself. This is not healing. This is magical reintegration. This is how you begin to claim yourself back. But of course, there's a cost to not breaking the spell, because what happens when you don't break these spells is you live someone else's life, you run on their frequency, your dreams get coded in someone else's fear, you confuse loyalty with bondage, and you begin to fear your own power. That's the deepest tragedy, it really is. And it's also the greatest call to action. So you realize that the spiritual technology of empaths are we are natural spell casters. And if this resonates with you, type transform in the comment section or send me a message at nana@innermileage.com. And don't forget to like, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell so you're always alerted when we post new videos. You have to realize that as an empath, your intent is pure, your energy is magnetic, you just forgot the tools. And now you remember, you create spells every time you refuse to explain your no, every time you speak truth into stillness and walk away from what drains you, and love yourself even when you're afraid. That is the greatest spell of all. So the next time someone tries to diminish you, remember this: you're not broken, you're spellbound. But now you've learned the words with love and intention. You speak yourself free. Speak yourself free. Until next time, sending you love, peace, and light.